When the visual productionist texts you and says, I would like to be on the show, you just go, okay, sure, no problem. And you get him on the show. And so it's me, Craig, and a special guest this week on HIAC Talk Radio, episode 433. And you can see, now that you can see everybody sitting with us, you can see that he won't put his hand down.
I was just about to ask if I can put my hand down because my arm aches.
Put your hand down. Your arm aches. You're getting bruised up by nurses at doctor's offices. Just put your hand down and relax. Welcome, HIAC Talk Radio. I'm the above average comedian Dan Colachico. You follow me on Twitter at DanLaw83. HIAC Talk Radio video podcasts are now up on youtube.com/DanLaw83, all produced by our visual production. With me as always, Craig Lagans. Craig, where can people follow you, sir? And Amber.
Well, they can follow me only. Amber is not taking any new followers right now. I have to clear that with her attorney. And the appearance fee already is breaking me. So I'll just get to me. I'm Craig Lagans. Hello, our second video here on HIAC Talk Radio. You can follow me at Craig Lagans, CraigLiggeons, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook. For those of you who can't see, for our blind listeners, I'm in John Punisher socks, which you cannot see. And on me, of course, is my lovely companion, Amber, ready at the switch for any add-ons or drop-ins that is necessary.
As I alluded to, I can't speak English, and now you get to see me not speak English every week. Our special guest, the man who came to me 2 weeks ago when I started 3 weeks ago when I started uploading the audio versions on YouTube. He goes, "Why is this not video?" And I said, "Because I don't know how to do it." And Harry's like, "I'll do it." And I said, "Okay, you're hired." Ladies and gentlemen, the great Harry Barnett. Harry, where can people follow you and all that good stuff?
Well, if they follow me in the street, I will give them the back of my hand. But they can follow me, Dan, on all good social media platforms at the Great HB. They can find me at YouTube. I don't have a personalized link yet because I don't think I have the correct numbers. But by searching the Great Harry Barnett, or by searching I Don't Even Like Podcasts, or TGHB playing video games, there's all kinds of hashtags you can find me on. You can even find me on a hashtag of someone I don't even talk to anymore, just because I always tag him in my stuff.
Harry, once you get a Harry, it never goes away.
Dan, let me tell you a little story as pertaining to the video, because that is when I actually started my what's the job title I gave myself? Visual productionist journey. Was 2, 3, maybe 4 years ago when I started hosting another show. Now, back when I did that show, I was a terrible visual productionist. I was absolutely awful with the video, didn't know what I was doing. Kept playing clips of Little Jimmy LeBeau at the beginning of each show just because, the kid's entertaining and, it ate up time that I didn't have to use actually showing the show. But then when it came to doing my show back in January, I thought, you know what? Everyone's doing video now. He's doing video. Vince Russo's doing video. All these other people doing video. I'm going to do video. I didn't care for people seeing me. I wanted them to see, the merchandise. I wanted them to see something. I wanted the visual product. And, I look like you already know. I am entertaining. I'm just so damn entertaining. And I wanted the people to see it. So, yeah, I decided I was going to do this. And as I did, I got used to a bootleg copy of a editing software. And over a few weeks.
Oh, we both use completely genuine software to edit our shows.
Yeah. Completely genuine. But no, once I actually got into it, I got actually pretty good. And I mean, you said on Stadium Journey that I'm actually good at this. And You know, I'm not usually one to, believe it or not, for someone who says how great he is, I'm not actually one with the confidence. Like, I don't look at something I do and say, you know, I really am good, other than talking, because I can put myself over for the rest of my life. But when it came to the visual product,
I was telling a certain somebody that we all know, and I don't mean this as an, I'm not talking crap on him. I told him, I said, listen, he's working you. He's working you completely, and I'm telling you to let it go because A, I don't care, and B, you're gonna lose. He will never. And once he knows you think it's true, he will keep working you. So good luck. I literally said, good luck. That's my final warning. I can't help you after that.
But yeah, the visual product, once I realized I was good at it, you know, along came the time where I approached you. I approached another podcast network very close to us, Dan, and I said, hey, have you ever thought about doing video? You said you had, but you didn't particularly want to put the work in. I said, well, I'll do it. And well, I didn't offer the other guy it because he said he'd never been interested in doing it. So, you know, I'd tell him to read somewhere in between there, but you know,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. You know, a long few-year journey to bring HIAC to the visual presentation that you have here today. I'm definitely going to put the camera on all three of us while we're doing this because you know everyone is just so visually appealing right now. I mean, wearing a hat. I'm wearing a hat, so you can't see how bald I am. Dan's wearing a hat because he wants to protect his hair, and Craig has great hair. He doesn't need a hat.
No, he really doesn't. And here's the thing, Craig, you will now be able to see Craig and Amber every week. Well, as long as we can pay her to appear. But he has. Not only does he have fantastic suits, which I begged him don't wear them often because he's just going to make us look the rest of us look terrible. He's got a. Well, no, we both look good. I mean, I look great. I'm talking about the clothes I'm wearing. I would always just t-shirt and shorts, and sometimes for the ladies, not shorts. But always a shirt because that nobody wants to see that. But the hair is because I work outside all day, and in the humidity, my greasy Italian self, it just poofs into curls. It just looks like a curly, greasy mess. That's what happens. No matter how much product I put in there, no matter how much grease I put in there, no matter how Italian I am, that it poofed. And this was a good day because the humidity was low, but usually it goes out wider than Craig's ever was. Well, since I've known him.
Is it the light or your eyebrows ginger, Dan?
It's the light.
Okay.
My eyebrows actually changed color. Here, let me explain why they look like that. My eyebrows actually turned from brown to blonde in the summer.
He's got mood eyebrows.
Wait, those are a thing? Oh, you made it up. Both of you. No, my hair actually used to be dirty blonde. It used to be 3 times lighter than it was, and the hair at the top of the head, wink, wink, went to brown, and the eyebrows go back to the original color whenever I stay out in the sun and I'm not a vampire. But enough about me and how awesome I am and how great Harry is and how funny and good-looking Craig is. It's time to get on with the show. And now you can see all these things that we're not just talking trash. And my God, I try not to take me too seriously when that part. Look at that arm, man. Well, unbelievable. They tried to kill him. But anyway, hot off the presses, AEW has announced that their weekly television show is starting on October 2nd. And not only that, it's starting locally for me and where I've moved. Don't let the Phillies hat fool you. I had to leave that area. I didn't have to leave that area. I decided to leave that area. And now... Yeah, well. Go ahead, Craig. What?
I was saying you're forced out, but that's still legally pending. But anyway, the first day, the first show of AEW is going to be in your backyard.
It's going to be in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. No name yet. Price tickets. The ticket sale will be announced next, whenever July 29th is. I don't know when the hell that is. Monday.
Good
4
Monday.
days from 4 days from now, Dan.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that because a group of us have already decided, yeah, we're going. Absolutely. You're going to stick it in our neck of the woods. Absolutely go there. So now there's only 3 companies that run in DC. WWE, AEW, and this weekend, Sunday, July 28th, at DC Brow, Primetime Pro Wrestling returns for Washington Monumental. Please go to check out Primetime Pro Wrestling on Twitter to find out the card. It's sold out. I have nothing to promote. I just wanted to remind everybody else that keep your eye on Primetime Pro. I know the dates. There's a bunch of other shows coming up. And speaking of Pride and the Pride Month that just passed, there's a special card that will be announced. It's being teased on social media in the very near future. Please keep your eyes out for all of that. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for AEW. Yes, Harry?
I'm pretty sure if the right person was to put the posters into the hands of the visual productionist, those posters of said shows could be flashing along the screen as you were speaking.
I will make sure that the person that needs to does take care of that. Craig. No, not Craig.
Amber.
Amber. There's probably going to be a little bit of a technical difficulty because I am on assignment this week, so the internet is not as strong. So Craig's signal may or may not drop off every now and then, but Harry will. Well, he's fixing it as we speak because you're watching it now. But anyway, let's no more technical chatter live.
But before we go on, Dan, I do have just one question. You're saying that these 3 companies are running in DC. I thought you were from West Virginia.
No, we've established that I'm nowhere near West Virginia.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, as long as you're sure.
No. That we're talking about cousins having sex with. That's in West Virginia. That's not in DC. Oh well. Anyway, looking at the White House. That's visual now. You can't get rid of that, sir. I almost got him. Yeah. There's total proof of that. I thought you looked like you were gonna follow it up.
There's no way I'm flashing between screens. I'm leaving all 3 screens up today, I think.
Oh, yay. That's what happens when the banter is strong. There's not enough editing power for HIAC Talk Radio. Harry, you wanted to come on specifically. There was nothing else really to talk about AEW. There's no more information. So you mentioned to me, I want to come on the show 24/7 titles. So right now, we yield the floor to Harry Barnett, the great one, to discuss the 24/7 title.
The original plan was for me to today 3D print a championship to rival the 24/7 championship, but I didn't have enough hours in the day.
Gotcha.
But I love the 24/7 championship, and for anyone that knows me, be they podcaster, be they person I work with, be they family member, be they random person I walked up to in the street, told them how great I was, and then said, hey, you know what? I only watch WWE for the 24/7 championship because those segments have been so good.
Yeah.
R-Truth popping up every now and again, think about it through the last few years. It's been fun, but nothing has meant as much for him as the 24/7 title. Maybe the Carmella dance break stuff, but nothing. They're obviously still a thing now, and it means quite a bit for both of them. Obviously, having her so involved. Drake Maverick. Look how they just had him managing all these different people.
Very random stuff, yeah.
Didn't really mean anything. 205 general manager. I'm sorry to say to just about anyone out there listening, I've still never watched an episode of 205 Live. For various people on there, I apologize, but I've not watched an episode yet, so I haven't actually seen what he's done.
Asterisk. Watch the last episode. If you're not going to watch another one, watch the last episode. The one that just aired this week.
When you said last episode, I thought they were ending it then, but yeah, carry on.
No, I'm sorry. Last episode that just passed. Watch the one that aired this week. And tell me what
you mean they died?
Yes, they passed away.
Okay.
Anyway, watch the episode. Anyway, back to you.
On with my point.
Back to you, Preston.
So all of these people did not mean anything until, well, they did, but they didn't mean as much until the 24/7 championship gave them their meaning. So it gave Drake Maverick that springboard to mean something. It gave R-Truth relevancy to do something more than what he was doing. Countless others who have just had their 15 minutes of fame. I mean, I think EC3 won the title once for about 3 seconds. And then along comes Raw Reunion. Now, you see something like Raw Reunion and you know that the 24/7 title has meant something now. And you think, we're going to get some of those legends winning the title, because obviously when Mick Foley announced the title, he was saying, hey, maybe some legends will win it once in a while. And you think to yourself, yeah, every one of those legends, the typical, it's a legend show, so they're just going to go to Florida and they're going to have the same people every single show. But still, it meant something. Who would actually think that Ted DiBiase coming in and paying for something would actually mean something? But hey, it recreated buying the WWE title, the WWF title, in the form of the 24/7 title. Yeah. Candice Michelle, Kelly Kelly, Pat Patterson, and Gerald Briscoe. These things were actually funny, right? And I'm a lot different to someone when it comes to wrestling, because I was attracted to wrestling through entertainment. I'm not going to sit and watch matches and be able to actually stay connected, because I have a terrible attention span, and it goes as far as if I'm talking about something that I'm not entirely interested in, I'm gonna forget halfway through and not really care and end up talking about myself. But enough about me. No, I'm kidding. It really is. It really
we know
is,
you're not kidding.
It really is interesting to a point where I actually want to watch. Whereas for the past God knows how long, I haven't been watching at all. I have not been watching at all. You go back to the last couple of shows I was on here, I don't remember what we talked about, but I'm pretty sure I blagged my way through because I had not been watching stuff. Any other podcasts I've been appearing on, not been watching stuff. I don't even really cover wrestling on my own show. But when I cover wrestling on my own show, it's usually talking about whoever's on, or like just a specific thing going on. I do not cover week-to-week wrestling because I don't watch. I love Rosemary and Impact, and I love some things in MLW. But I do not watch wrestling shows. The 24/7 title has my interest.
That's really the main reason why Dean left. The only reason he left is he's just, with all the things that happened with us and in indie wrestling, which if you can find the episodes, they're out there. It's all pretty much documented, and the fact that it was just not time for putting that much passion into wrestling anymore. He was like, "There's no point in me doing the show."
See, so I didn't actually think Dean left for a reason. I thought you just put him in an old folks' home.
You said okay. I never said that.
No, you didn't. I did.
Okay.
Dean, I know when you grow up, you want to be me, but it's okay. We will get you out of that home. But yeah, so I love the 24/7 title stuff on Raw. And I'm not trying to change the subject just because, I'm scared of old people. I love Dean. He is like the... He's like a part of my family, and that's a genuine thing. But no, I love the 24/7 title stuff on Raw and the Bray Wyatt thing. But yeah, that's the extent of it. Just seeing all those old faces, I really wish that it would be a regular thing, like surprises. I don't want to see the same everyone running after Truth and Drake Maverick every week. I want to see some surprises thrown in there. So maybe one week you see RVD's made a WWE and Impact have made a deal to have RVD there. He wins the 24/7 title. Next week, trade it back between Drake Maverick and RVD again. Maybe the next week after that, Craig wins it. Maybe Amber beats him for it, and then one of Matt Hardy's kids beats Amber. Remember the surprise factor of the hardcore title. that sort of thing on a week-to-week basis would mean something. But on the other hand, I am interested in the Drake Maverick R-Truth feud, because it's bringing in Renee, his wife, bringing in that sort of. It's almost feeling like they're building to a tag team match between them at SummerSlam. But I have a feeling they won't. It'll just be left off the card and it'll be the same week-to-week nonsense. But no. Only thing making me watch WWE at the moment is the 24/7 title. Back to you, Dan, and Craig, and Edward.
Well, tie it into the Raw reunion, Craig. The first time in a long time where they're bringing back, because I know how you feel about always giving, and I justified the older guys more time than some of the younger guys. I totally get it, but I hang on a little longer. I was not. I was watching Raw because I watch Raw. That's loyal with the loyalty to a fault thing. You insert that right there. But I was not super excited about the reunion part until I thought about it. Like right as airing, I'm like, oh, they're gonna work in the 24/7 title. Okay, I'm ready for this. And I don't know what Harry was saying. Yeah, you now have something to do with somebody different every week, and perhaps not. Now, I will say this, Craig, before you take it over. I am still enjoying how they're figuring out how Drake will steal it, and somehow, some way, R-Truth will get it back before the end of the night every time, if not by the end of the week. But yeah, to be able to use other people and change it up every week, the options are limitless at this point with that freaking roster that is sitting there doing nothing. It is absolutely a highlight of the show, if not the highlight of the Raw and SmackDown.
Do you realize now how far the mighty have fallen when the thing that people look forward to the most are comedy skits involving a 24/7 belt? This is exactly what killed the hardcore title in the first place. Why Raven, of all people, Scott is the most decorated champion in WWE history because he's held the hardcore title 23 times. Okay? That's ridiculous.
R-Truth is 15. He's at 15. Almost there.
15 already. But I mean, that's what killed the hardcore title in the first place. Now, I enjoy R-Truth. His one gap, or the three times when he was R-Truth in the WWE, when he first came out with the "What's Up" chant, and the three times on tour that he got the name of the city wrong, he's turned that into he's skid and made that part of his character, that he'll get everything wrong. And I look forward to hearing what he'll say, what he'll call the title next, the 7-Eleven European Television Championship. Always funny. Same time, if we're doing this a year from now, I'm afraid of it being stagnant, because once again, this is a wrestling show. I know it's heavy on entertainment, and it's sports entertainment. You can't call them wrestlers. And having a camera crew inside a hotel room that no one notices, a whole crew, a camera, sound guy, boom mic, and all that stuff, and I'm supposed to buy it that Truth is under the bed somewhere or at a golf, tournament. I get it, and I understand what you're saying, Harry, but this is really what's going to kill the 24/7 title, which is a lot of fun right now, but like with everything that WWE does, very soon it's going to be very old.
I do want to add, Harry, before you reply, to this day, when he ran out during was it Royal Rumble, where he ran out, grabbed the ladder, set the ladder up, everybody's staring at him, and he just climbs the ladder, and he gets up to the
briefcase. Yeah.
The moment, every time you mention R-Truth's name, I think of two things: the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and the look on his face when he looked up and there was nothing hanging above the ring. I understand what you're saying, Craig, but he has parlayed this into a career extension that most people will never ever see, and that better be the DVD box art when it comes out. Is looking up. Go ahead, Craig.
And my favorite R-Truth moment, Dan, and it was even recent. Was a month. It was 2 weeks ago when Cesaro pulled out the table and R-Truth was was laying on the table. That is my favorite R-Truth moment. I'll put that over the ladder any day because we hadn't seen him the whole 3 hours. Supposed to get a table. He pulls it out, and there's R-Truth and the look on his face when he looked at that was priceless. You should. Anyone who's not even a wrestling fan, and that's just funny. It's just that Dick Van Dyke, John Ritter type physical humor that only he can pull off. That being said,
I understand what you're saying.
Get really old. Go ahead, Harry.
My favorite one was it was when he first started doing comedy after being heel, and it's before the Elimination Chamber, and Joe the King Lawler's talking to all of them, and he thinks it's an election, and he keeps referring to King as Your Honor, thinking that he's in court and he's running for mayor. But to come back to what you were saying, Craig, about the comedy skits, I mean, I was brought up on very much the Cartoon Network Nickelodeon era. So seeing stuff like Looney Tunes and the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, seeing that translate to something like a Drake Maverick and an R-Truth really takes it home for me. So that's really what connects it for me. Whereas, I know there's a lot more comedy now than you really necessarily need. But I mean, if you're to dial it back, we got to keep that, because that really is, as we can all see, that really is the highlight.
All right, I'm going to call this now. All right, guys. Craig, next week is just going to be Wrestling Historian. Do not do Wrestling Historian this week. If we have to go an hour of just Historian, do both weeks next week. There's too much fucking internet problems.
Okay.
We'll finish the show of all the things you want to talk about and continue this discussion. And I'll say something on the outro. I'm going to keep this roll. Harry, you can cut out parts of video, right?
I can cut out things, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to keep this part rolling. It's the internet connection down here, and I'm not taking everything apart and going up to the top of the house to get it. It's picking up most of what you're saying, but if we try to do the Wrestling Historian, just you, Craig, it's going to be a fucking mess. So next week will be strictly just you and I doing Wrestling Historian, unless something huge breaks.
Yeah.
That's what we'll make. You know how we do, like, if we have nothing to talk about, it'll just be Wrestling Historian Plus. We'll just do that next week.
Oh, okay.
You're not upset, are you?
No.
Okay.
Is Amber?
No, Amber don't.
Amber's livid right now, and I'm not gonna hear the end of this at the end, because we worked on wrestling this week, and we had some really topical stuff to talk about. But that'll be for next week. It's fine.
Yeah. So we'll make this the shorter episode. It'll probably clock in under an hour, and then next week just do a Historian, just you and I, like normal. It's too fucking much this week, and with all the shit I'm dealing with, nothing serious. It's just I'm fucking stressed out. I don't want to try to power through it, give Harry and I both a mess visually and audibly to fucking fuck with for an hour.
Okay.
It's my fault. I'm sorry. It's totally my fault, dude.
That's fine.
Thank you, sir. Plus, we won't keep it.
It's okay. The GoFundMe is only up to $195. It'll be fine.
Jesus. All right. We'll continue here on video, and the audio part's already edited. Harry, you got it, man. I trust you. That first edit was fantastic anyway, so I have no worries. I will say this. I can understand. Yeah, a year from now, they better keep it fresh and rotate. I always say on Twitter, the WWE cannot always listen to the crowd because they have a path to follow. You might not like the path, but they've written stuff out where they got to follow it to a certain extent. That being said, a year from now, 2 months from now, if people stop reacting to R-Truth in this role, they better change it. They have something real good. Now, I'll say this, and I might just be the blind leading the blind here. I have even somewhat faith in Bischoff with WWE machine behind him, that Heyman and Bischoff can make changes when they say, okay, it's not going well. Change it up. Hey, look, we all have glasses now.
I know, that's why I put them on.
Change it up. Let's. We're not shaving our head for you, Harry. I'm sorry. But anyway, we'll change it up, and But yeah, I can see this going south quickly. You know, I will say this: Raw Reunion was a completely different show with the 24/7 title, because that could have been a giant cluster F without that prop as the segment. The stuff with Medusa was great. I really wish she actually put her in a sleeper hold, but what do I know? I'm not a wrestler. These, you know what I'm talking about, Craig. The stuff with Anderson and Briscoe, that throwback. I thought it was all well done. And you also got to take into account that you got to write segments with these legends and stars from the past with kids and adults in mind. So there was a little bit of both for all that. Kind of like you said, Harry, there was a little bit of early, a little bit later on Nickelodeon where they were airing the Looney Tunes and the Hanna-Barbera slapsticky stuff. But I will say this: what topped it all off for me is the second week in a row of The Fiend showing up on TV. I don't care what your opinion is of Bray Wyatt in the past is. This is legitimately the greatest iteration of Bray Wyatt, period. Now, I will say this. I do see a lot of similarities in somebody, a stable. I suggest you guys, anybody who's listening who's never heard of the Carnies, check them out because they're effing great. Don't check out their CZW debut because nobody at CZW gave a crap, and it was a very well-produced debut, and everybody just went,
CZW still a thing?
I'm going to move past that comment. Harry? Yes? Listen, in all seriousness, they did a great thing coming together with On Point and other wrestlers for the Lyle Williams show, and I have nothing bad to say in that regard. Just like anybody else, whenever we think CZW is dead, they pull it together, and they probably will again. That being said, the Carnies debut as CZW always bothered me because the Carnies should probably run over everybody in wrestling. Just look up the Carnies, please. It's very similar to that. But, of course, with the WWE production and writers, they can, when they're firing all cylinders, can take it to the next step. You also had the Savini doing the match for The Fiend, which looks amazing. Last week, he attacks Finn Balor. This week, he done crossed the line and attacked Mick Foley and did the mandible claw. Now, what you don't see, some of you might have seen, but if you haven't, on Twitter, just today, a few hours ago before recording this, he did tweet, "I'm sorry, Mick Foley, but I also want to thank you." That was it. That was the tweet. Everything they're doing with the new Bray Wyatt character, this iteration of it, is freaking fantastic. The fact that when Finn Balor came out to throw out the challenge on SmackDown, which was a great promo, that he answered as the Funhouse. I was like, they're not getting rid of that, are they? Absolutely not. It's right in the middle of the gimmick still. I will say, this is the death bell. I'll go to Craig first. Mm-hmm. I will say what I said about Bray Wyatt, the other iterations. If this man is not the goddamn WWE champion, or at least beating the hell out of everybody for the next year, I don't understand why you would do that. He's literally, we talked about how great The Undertaker looked coming back. He doesn't need to come back anymore based on other past. You have the guy already in place. Keep it going. That's just my 2 cents, Craig.
I agree, Dan. And they already have people in place now that can replace the stars of the past. Like I said last week on last week's show, Braun Strowman is your Big Show. You use Braun Strowman like the Big Show.
Yeah.
He's perfect in that role. He could be a transitional champion. He's going to be a perennial main event top card guy. He and you have him here for the next 10 years. Bray Wyatt is your new Undertaker. He's already there. He's established that a long time ago. Used correctly, and they're using him the right way so far. Just like you said earlier, Harry, with the 24/7 rule, you can bring somebody in. You don't know when it's going to come. You don't know when it's going to happen. Have Bray Wyatt come and ran first Finn Balor, and this week it was Mick Foley, which I thought was interesting. Bray Wyatt was the only one, and that of all the legends and today's superstars were kept separate, something that Dolph Ziggler brought up very astutely on SmackDown the next night, which always bugged the hell out of me. Even though Steve Austin gave a lot of praise to the current superstars, the fact that not one current superstar had any interaction with any of the legends except for Seth Rollins, the best wrestler in the company, who's treated like a fanboy next to DX and against AJ and the club, and he was pretty much just a prop, while Nash, Hall, the Kid, and Road Dogg, even though he had a nice dig at Billy Gunn, but Seth Ryan was just a prop for the old dudes again. And I've seen the old dudes enough. I've seen all of them enough. They've gotten their due. I know it's a 3-hour show and you got a lot of time to fill, but you're doing a disservice to so many great young athletes that are already on Raw and on SmackDown, and you're wasting them to give yet another nod to the past.
You make a great point as far as nod to the past, but I hate to be. Well, first of all, just to quickly throw it back to the Fiend thing real quick before I go into that. I hate to be the reference guy in the room throwing it back to childhood, but as all of us are comic book guys here, I'm not sure if you've seen the Batman Beyond animated movie, Return of the Joker. What's his name? Bray Wyatt feels very much the Joker that was Robin, who had been turned into Joker, because you have that feeling of, okay, when he's Bray Wyatt, which Robin was it? Was it Dick Grayson?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bray Wyatt is Dick Grayson, who doesn't realize he's Joker, and then when he's Joker, he's the Fiend. And I really sort of noticed that when I watched the clip yesterday morning. But as far as what you were saying about throwing it back to the past, I mean, I really want the future to succeed. I really want shows to be interesting for even me to watch, because I don't like being the angry one in the room who says, I don't want to watch this. But the sad thing is, Craig, people aren't watching. And I looked at the videos on their YouTube clips, and I'm looking at, I can't name specifics because I don't remember matches that happened, but I was looking at a match with current day people, and then I'd look at a segment with legends. And the massive difference in the numbers of people that have watched it really says something. So what that says to me is people don't want to see what's happening today. People want to see what happened yesteryear. And that's a sad thing, because no one wants the shows to go away. No one wants people to stop watching and not have something to watch. But it really does feel like they're catering to yesteryear because it's the only way they're going to get people to watch in large numbers.
That is sad.
I was going to say, I'm very glad you said that, because my response to what Craig said was like, because I agree with everything he said. I have no quarrels with a damn thing either one of you said, but the problem is the ratings. Mm-hmm. The ratings were twice as high as they've been in a long time. So it's like we have this weird thing. We have this weird thing where we have the WWE network sitting there. We have this weird thing where most of these people that are complaining about Raw have already paid the $9.99 a month to see the old stuff. And I go back and watch it. I'm going back. I started in March. You can follow the thread on Twitter. Every now and then when I find a clip or a picture of something happening on the show, I'll tag it to the back of that thread, so you can all follow Dan Law 83. You literally have the thing you want to go back and see all the stuff. Because I like seeing it too, quite frankly. I don't want it on my new stuff. But every time we say that, and Craig and I dig our heels in and say it's time to move on, the ratings drop, then they have a Raw reunion, and 3 million people watch, and it's like, well, what the hell do I know? And clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about, because that's the show people are turning into. You have Seth Rollins, who has played like a second fiddle for the NWO and DX, and he was just your world champion. And guess who wasn't there? Long time. Another discussion for another time. Go ahead, Craig. I saw you lower the mic, so you lower the boom. So,
No, you're right. I was just gonna agree with you. I wasn't going to expand on what you were saying. Just
it's just a very frustrating time when you have the network. You have the excuse. And that's the thing. Not one time did anybody go. You can see all of these guys and girls and their career if you go to the WWE network and pick up dates. Pick out random dates for matches. Somebody there knows.
I've got a brilliant idea for how they can integrate legends on a regular basis without having them dominate the show, without them even having to step foot in a ring. And I can guarantee you, none of the three of you, Amber, none of the 2 1/4 of you have actually thought of this. Yeah. I think that they need season 2 of Legends House on the WWE Network to then have, let's say, 5, maybe 10 minutes of each show played out on Raw, whether it be in clips or a whole 5-10 minutes, and say, okay, this is Legends House. You've got Hulk Hogan, you've got Steve Austin, you've got Ric Flair. Yeah, they're not going to do an all-star one with all these big names. You know, you'll have Hillbilly Jim come back. You'll have, the Z-list of Legends House, but they should have Legends House.
I saw Doug and Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, just so you can have that Legends presence on a weekly basis. And then you don't have to have them involved in the actual show, because you're just replaying what's on the network. And you're also saying, hey, this show is on the network. If you want to see this show in full, you've got to go and subscribe to the network.
Yeah. We're at we're at that boom in 95, 96, where something's going to change eventually, and nobody knows really the direction it's going to go. And I really feel, I don't want to say the parallels, because AEW is going to, Gary, as soon as I'm done, you can follow up.
You don't want me to. You don't want me to.
No, I want you to. You just do it after I'm finished. Double or Nothing was a good show. The last 2, I think I know where you're going. That's why I want you to say it. The last 2 AEW shows were okay. They weren't terrible shows, but they weren't anything amazing. But they're also buying time until what I mentioned before, at the top of the show, or the middle of the show. Our intros were so damn long. Was their television debut. I see parallels where the WWE was not. See, we have this romanticized thing. The WWE was not at a holding pattern. They weren't just going and not trying. The shows have not aged terribly. I don't know this fake thing where, the WWE sucks so bad and WCW is real. Raw shows were fine. Because you go back and you have, Hogan and Bill Smith opening up Nitro against Ultimate Warrior and Goldust cutting a promo. I tuned into Raw. And I was watching WCW. I was a WCW guy because I hated Hogan. That's just retrospect and back then.
And still do, yes.
Yeah,
well, you don't hate him as much as Booker T. You don't hate him as much as Booker T does.
The greatest picture I ever saw, and I cropped it, was a shot that was different from the camera shot on Raw Reunion where Hogan and Flair hug, and it just in the back you see Booker T looking at Hogan in the back of his head going, "I'm gonna kill you." Someone pointed out to me that, Booker T called him the N-word first. I said, Booker T didn't say F N-word.
Yes.
Okay? There's a slight difference. But, that sounds about white. Shout out to Rev.
Now,
So,
Dan.
we're in this weird thing where something's going to need to happen to. It's cliched at this point. Something's going to happen to wake Vince up, or for Vince to step aside and have Paul, and I mean Triple H, finally step in and start kicking doors down, because he's looking at these NXT guys getting called up and going, what the. AEW is right there. I don't care about the Twitter wars. I don't care about what my other friends are saying about either. I don't give a damn. I want AEW to succeed as much as I wanted WCW to succeed. If they did kick WWE's butt for a little while like Nitro, I wouldn't be upset, because what happened for a period there, wrestling was at its biggest. Is it ever going to hit that number again? Who the hell knows? But we're primed and ready to go. Harry, the thing you weren't supposed to say, you're going to say right now.
Well, Dan, like a referee that loves a promoter and doesn't love health insurance at wrestling shows, I very much think that the idea you were alluding to of being at that 1996 stage, what changed back then, Dan? What was the one factor that pushed them back into prominence? What changed then, Dan? Tell me. 5 letters.
WWF?
Yeah, 5 letters. One
Stone
word.
Cold Steve Austin? No.
Yeah. And how did Austin come about?
Just say what it is. I don't know the exact word you're looking for. Oh,
Dan.
shut up!
Russo.
Shut up!
Dan,
Get out.
look at
Stop.
everyone
No.
who is there. Look at everyone who is there. You've got
No.
You've got Pritchard. You've got Bischoff. You've got Heyman. You've got 100 other people in
I
creative.
never
want to be head of creative.
advocate the rehiring of Vince Russo. If you held a gun to my head and said, but he really likes you, I don't give a damn. I
Dan.
saw what he did with Nitro and the company I beloved, and like you alluded to a year ago in private messaging, no, I haven't gotten over it. He sucks, and he might be the nicest guy in the world. I have nothing to say about him as far as a good, decent person. I don't know him. He seems like a nice guy. You get along with him when you interact. Might be the nicest guy in the world. I don't want him anywhere near the wrestling product ever again. That's just my 2 cents. I could be off my rocker. No way in frickin' hell.
Dan, AEW have just signed Vince Russo.
God, no, they didn't.
I'm kidding. But listen,
I'm looking at the feed.
listen.
You'd be the first one breaking it, you jerk.
Dan, listen, take it from someone who listens to Russo. He doesn't even want to go back.
Good.
But he has suggested what they should do.
Raw?
Repeat that for me.
Raw or WWE or AEW?
WWE.
Okay, throw it at me. What did he say?
He's basically said, you know how they've got about 300 people in creative. You know, they've got all these different people in charge.
Yeah.
What is cool in television today, Dan? Reality TV.
I barely watch television. I really
Okay,
can't. I
okay.
can't jokingly answer that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say reality TV, and that's really not where WWE needs to go. Because, I'm glad you said Vince Russo doesn't want to come back. I'm sure he has great ideas of what WWE should do, and I'm sure they have something to do with television, with it playing. So anything, something that would put someone over and keep them over, because Vince Russo was never a wrestling fan, which is why he's held in such low regard with anyone who's ever worked with him, both in WWE and WCW and TNA, and everywhere he touches and everywhere he goes. But what did he have to say about reality television, Harry?
See, he says that the ongoing situation, that the battle behind the curtain should be turned into the show. Now, different people have interpreted that in different ways, and how, you've got your Vince McMahon and Vince's people, you've got Triple H and Triple H's people, you now got Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff and all of these different camps, and how everyone wants control of creative. Everyone wants to run the show. And now, see, when you have something like that, that's kind of where the idea stops. But when you take something like that and you interpret it, you kind of see something like that, and it can work, because so many people say, authority figures are played out, that sort of stuff just sucks now. But if you think about it, you look back, how often have you had just a battle for power all the time? How often have you had almost like a mafia style, everyone battling for power? It's not a long-term solution. I disagree with Russo in the fact that this will be what will save them, but it's an idea. It's a short-term solution. It's something to try. At the minute, they're really just about going to the bathroom and throwing everything at the wall and seeing what will stick.
Yeah.
Why not try that in this respect? What's the worst that can happen? Stevie Richards, and Ben Hameen, who obviously used to work for OVW, the three of them contacted Fox, and they actually did a show where they said they spoke to Fox executives, basically like Russo did with a couple of places when he had left TNA, offering to consult with them, saying, look, you've got a terrible show here, SmackDown, that's about to go to your network. You don't know what you're in for. We know how to play that game. Give us a shot. So, be it Raw, be it SmackDown, be anything they've got, they are just throwing things at the wall and seeing what will stick. So, it can anything at this point that even Russo, and, you guys have a not so favorable opinion of him. I don't so much care. I like the guy. I don't really care either for or against his work. But can it really hurt taking him back in if he wanted it?
Not at this point. I will say this: I completely agree with the notion there's too many cooks in the kitchen. There absolutely is, and there has been for years now. And I know it started when it was publicly traded. There are too many people there. People can sit there and look at what I'm saying and say, "What do you know? You're just sitting on." There are too many. Look at the results and tell me I'm wrong, that there's not too many people sitting there throwing ideas on the wall instead of bookers, they're writers. It's something I've been saying this entire time the show has been on the air. There are too many people writing the show. There are too many scripts. In that case, I absolutely 100% agree with Vince Russo. And in 100% serious, you're saying, will it make it any worse? It won't make it any worse if they did. It really wouldn't at this point. It's that it could be that bad. The shows have been hit or miss, getting a little better, but there's zero consistency. Craig,
it wouldn't make it any better. I hate that that's the alternative. Well, it can't get any worse. Yeah, but it won't make it any. And it's not 1998 anymore. And the stuff that Vince Russo wants to do, or because he thinks in an entertainment way and not in a wrestling way, and the fact that there are so many people involved in a WWE program or a SmackDown program, your own sentence, your own words, Dan, is what is killing the sport that we love. You just said it just off the cuff. There's too many writers. When in the living F do professional wrestling shows need writers? You're talking about, it's not a sitcom. It's not the Dick Van Dyke Show. It's not a long game. Okay, people, we need ideas here. It's wrestling. And to echo what Jim Cornette said, the fact that they're hiring studio writers for a wrestling show is the day I got out, because I showed up and what are we doing? Oh, the Midnight Express versus Rock and Roll Express. Okay. Well, we'll do an angle. We interfere in one of their matches. Okay, then you come back and then they beat me up, and then there you go. And that'll run for 6 months. The sold out shows up and down from Houston, Texas to New Orleans. We'll sell out the Superdome. And I didn't see a single writer around there anywhere. Ricky, I'll come on in a suit and you rip off my suit. Okay, and then I'll come back and the next day and I'll rub your face in cement. You'll set you out for 2 weeks. We'll take pictures of you with your face all scarred up. And then when you come back, it'll be a huge. And then what? What do you know? 6 months of sold out shows up and down the Mid-Atlantic area. Not a single writer anywhere.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
That doesn't work now. That can't work now.
Make sure you pause for page breaks.
We need to hire Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could just come to the conclusion that none of us know what the hell to do to fix it now.
Well, hold on, man. I think after all that Craig just said, he should go and put himself forward for WWE's opening position as continuity director.
I've told him before when that position like that is open to apply for it.
I think we should all call Fox right now and suggest it.
Nobody's going to listen to me.
What?
Don't listen to me, Dan. I'll keep calling until they do.
I know. I know you will. Like I said, I guess we can all agree, though, that the one legend that was used properly this week was HBK with the segment that was absolutely nothing short of spectacular. Now that we've mentioned how much we hate the writers on SmackDown Live between Dolph Ziggler and HBK, it was a great. Thank you. I made Craig laugh. That means I know it's really funny. It was very well put together. A lot of words that were true were said, and you had Dolph Ziggler kicking the crap out of HBK by the end, and he's right now one of the most hated men in wrestling. Mission accomplished, Craig.
It was indeed, and Dan, that's the only reason I would be okay with yet another Miz versus Dolph Ziggler feud. Because that's been it once every 3 years they have to go against each other, and they always have great matches. But this time there's actually something worthwhile. There's substance to it. Ziggler cut a great promo, echoing a lot of what I said. It's not because that's not why I thought it was great. He was on top of his game. Same thing with Miz, coming right back at him. You know, shut up. Every week you talk about, well, you should have been me. It should have been do something. Miz actually getting some heat on himself, being the tough guy. For years, this has been the quintessential cowardly heel. But now he's getting in Ziggler's face, sticking out his chin and saying, do something. And the fact that Sean was calling him Mike, you know, legitimized. And it's no longer, the Miz has transformed himself into a main event top guy. And getting the rub from Michaels and this, like I said, Dolph and Miz has been done to death. But this thing with Shawn Michaels and the quick note, happy 54th birthday to Shawn Michaels. So
conclusion, happy birthday,
yeah,
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
I have to. We said it before, but you can't. If there's anybody denying the Miz is not the best, if not one of the best at this point, it's just stupid. Harry, did you have anything to comment about Ziggler and Miz?
Well, I mean, do we know if what's his name? If Shawn Michaels was actually looking at Dolph Ziggler, can we actually tell from which direction his eyes are looking?
And with that is our cue to leave. Harry, where can people follow you, sir?
Well, definitely not both of Shawn Michaels' eyes, but people can find me at all good social media platforms, at Snapchat, Twitter, all sorts, at The Great HB. If you go to the Facebook, you can follow me on my Facebook like page at facebook.com/The Great Harry Barnett TGHB. I'm well aware that is a mouthful, but I did just spell it for you. I think that's all the social media I have. If there's anything else you need to follow me on, you know, just hit the old Google. I don't have a GoFundMe account, but you can send me money. Just send it to Dan and tell him it's for me. And if he opens it, then a piranha will bite him where he does not want biting. And of course,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Bite me in any part of my body.
Well, there you go then. You don't want biting anywhere, so
Right.
don't open my envelope with money in it.
Yes, sir.
And of course, the YouTube, search the Great Harry Barnett, and then hopefully once you subscribe, people can then get me a personalized link where I will not have to do this 10-minute spiel about why you should follow me, because by then you will be, and I will not be a referee not liking health insurance and loving the promoter. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I do not have a GoFundMe. Good night.
Craig, let's save us. Where can people follow you, sir?
They can follow me very quickly at Craig Ligon, CraigLiGeons, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter. I also follow my other podcast, Comic Book Gurus. It's on WMMR.com and wherever all podcasts are sold for free.
So, the expression sold for free makes
yeah, thank you. And that's for all the juggalos and juggalettes. Whoop, 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 and we hope you like it.
Follow me on Twitter at Dan. Follow me on Twitter at DanLaw83. The HIAC Talk Radio Network is on HIAC Talk Radio on all social media platforms. The video podcast is at youtube.com/DanLaw83. The VOC Nation is hosting us currently. VOC Nation Radio on iTunes. And I have to be quiet. Amber's sleeping. I'm sorry. On iTunes and blogtalkradio.com, VOC Nation Radio. And HIACTalkRadio.com will be back in the near future. And you can find all our episodes at the VOC Nation Radio. In the meantime, the smooth sounds of Dan Calchico, the ref versus the promoter. My God. We got to get the hell out of here. Apologize for the technical difficulty. Oh, I'm sorry. To be quiet. Apologize for the technical difficulties this evening. Next week's episode will be only Wrestling Historian, featuring myself and Craig Ligons, and not Harry Barnett. For Craig Ligons and our visual productionist, Harry Barnett, I have no idea who I am. Good night. Welcome, HIAC Talk Radio. I'm the above average comedian, Dan Calchico. You follow me on Twitter at DanLaw83. HIAC Talk Radio video podcasts are now up on youtube.com/DanLaw83. All produced by our visual productionist. Visual productionist. I got it.
You're a good thing we're visual now, because it just means that if you don't make sense, well, we can see you trying.
See me trying. You can see all the effort I put into it. The great Harry Barnett, we'll get to him in a second, because with that. By the way, Harry, for future reference, anytime you want to, if you find bloopers, if you have the time, you want to tack them on at the end, that's totally up to you. I wouldn't be upset. As long as it's me saying, "He's a cunt." Like, don't put that one on.
I have all the time in the world, Dan. I have a time machine.
Oh, that explains a lot. All right, I'm just going to go right back into it. And as I alluded to, I check out Primetime Pro Wrestling on Twitter to find out the card. It's sold out. I have nothing to promote. I just wanted to remind each other, everybody else. There's the English language thing again.
You see, originally when I said that, I had planning Blair. I'm starting to lose ability to speak the English language, just like you. I have recently had a concussion. Obviously, if you go back to probably the most recent episode I was on, I may well have been concussed at the time. I don't remember that far back, so I can't tell you. I do remember I was on around that sort of time, though.
To add on to what not Craig, because Harry has a beard. I don't want it on my new stuff. But every time we say that, and Craig and I dig our heels and say it's time to move on, the ratings drop. Then they have a Raw reunion, and 3 million people watch, and it's like, well, what the hell do I know? And